Okay, so picture this. You've got a soldier, just finished with the war, heading home. But he's got basically nothing. Like a tiny loaf of bread and a couple of coins. That's Brother Lustig.
Right.
Now, you might think, okay, hardship story. Maybe he makes good in the end. But trust me, this one goes places you don't expect. We're talking disguised saints, miracle cures, even devils getting stuffed in a bag.
Exactly. And that's what we're diving into today, the story of Brother Lustig. It keeps surprising you. You know, the events are bizarre, and the main character, well, figuring him out is half the fun.
Totally. So our mission here is to really unpack the big moments in his story, try to get a handle on Brother Lustig himself, because he's a real piece of work, honestly, and explore what's going on beneath the surface with these encounters and choices he makes.
Yeah, it's not your typical fairy tale with a neat little moral. It's messy. It's ambiguous, which makes it way more interesting, I think.
Agreed. Okay, let's get into it. So it starts right after the war. He's discharged. What's he got?
Next to nothing.
Yeah.
That small loaf of bread and 4 kreutzer. That's it. So right away, you see he's really starting from rock bottom. It kind of sets the stage, doesn't it? How desperate his situation is.
It does. And you'd think, okay, survival mode kicks in, right? Look out for number one.
Mm-hmm.
But almost straight away, he runs into this beggar. And spoiler alert, it's actually St. Peter in disguise.
Right, the first encounter.
And it happens 3 times. Each time, this beggar asks for something, and each time, Brother Lustig gives him a quarter of his tiny loaf and one of his few coins.
Which is pretty remarkable considering he has so little himself. That initial generosity.
Yeah.
It stands out.
It really does. I mean, he's practically starving, but he still shares. It suggests, well, something good in him. At least initially.
Definitely. It sets up this interesting question, like, is it his true nature, or is it just a starting point before things take a turn?
And they do take a turn, because then St. Peter, still looking like just some other broke soldier, suggests they team up. He says he's got these doctoring skills.
And Brother Lustig admits he knows zip about medicine.
Right. But he's like, sure, why not? Clearly sees a chance to maybe make some cash. It's an odd pairing from the get-go.
It is. St. Peter's obviously got his own reasons, maybe setting up a test or something. And Lustig, well, he seems willing to jump at an opportunity, even if he's not qualified. Maybe a bit opportunistic.
Could be. So pretty soon they find this farmer who's super sick. St. Peter, being St. Peter, just zap heals him instantly.
Miracle cure?
The farmer and his wife are overjoyed, try to pay them. St. Peter keeps saying, no, don't need anything.
But Brother Lustig jumps in.
Yeah, he nudges Peter like, hey, man, we're broke here. Take something.
He's the practical one, I guess.
Seems like it. Eventually, the farmer's wife gives them a lamb. Again, Peter's kind of like, oh, we don't need. But Lustig's pretty insistent. He's like, nope, we're taking the lamb.
That dynamic keeps coming back, doesn't it? St. Peter being all detached from worldly goods, and Brother Lustig focused on, well, getting paid or getting fed.
Totally. Is Lustig just being pragmatic, or is this maybe the start of something a little more greedy?
Good question. So they've got this lamb now, and surprise, surprise, Lustig ends up having to carry it.
Naturally. He gets hungry, suggests they cook it. St. Peter agrees, but then says he's a terrible cook and leaves Lustig to do all the work.
With one rule, don't eat anything until I get back.
That is last words. Because what happens next is, well, it's a big moment.
Huge. He's there cooking the lamb, smells amazing, and he caves, he eats the heart, justifies it to himself like, oh, it's the best bit, Peter won't miss it.
And when St. Peter comes back and asks, hey, where's the lamb's heart? Brother Lustig tells this absolute bonkers lie.
Yeah, get this. He says the lamb didn't have heart.
Like, what? It's so ridiculous. It's not just disobeying, it's the sheer nerve of that lie.
It really marks a shift, doesn't it, towards active deception.
And Peter's reaction is just as weird. He kind of just accepts it, maybe gives him a look, but basically lets it slide.
Which is baffling. I mean, it's St. Peter. He's not going to be fooled by the lamb had no heart.
So what's going on there? Is he just letting him dig his own grave as another test?
Could be. Maybe Peter's allowing him the rope, so to speak.
Yeah.
Letting him make these choices and see where they lead. It makes you think about how divine intervention works, you know? Is it always obvious?
Good point. So they keep traveling, and they get to this river or lake, need to cross.
Right. And Peter tells Lustig, you go first. But Lustig's maybe a bit wary now.
Yeah, he says, no, you first. So Peter wades in, and the water's like barely up to his knees, easy.
But when Brother Lustig follows, whoosh, the water suddenly rises right up to his neck. He's about to drown.
And in that moment, Peter asks him again, point blank, did you eat the lamb's heart?
And even then, even facing death,
He denies it. Nope, wasn't me. The stubbornness is incredible.
it really shows how committed he is to the lie now, doesn't it? The guilt's gone. It's just pure defiance.
And yet, St. Peter saves him anyway, makes the water go down.
That mercy, even right after the lie, is striking. What does that tell you about Peter's whole plan here?
It suggests incredible patience. Or maybe, like you said, it's all part of some bigger purpose we can't see yet. He keeps giving Lustig chances to come clean, and Lustig just doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
So next they hear news. Like, the king's daughter has died. And what's Brother Lustig's first thought?
Cha-ching! Reward money. He wants to rush over there, heal her, get paid.
Exactly. It's all about the potential gain for him now. The focus has totally shifted.
And Peter, he just ambles along, doesn't seem fussed about the urgency. Very different priorities.
So by the time they get there, yep, the princess is dead. Lustig's all, oh man, too late.
But Peter's like, hold on, I can do more than heal. I can raise the dead.
And you can just imagine Lustig's eyes lighting up, thinking about how big that reward's going to be.
Oh, yeah. Then comes that
Yeah.
really graphic scene.
Yeah, it's pretty grim. Peter takes the princess's body, cuts it up, boils the bits in a kettle,
Yep.
then puts the bones back together. And Lustig's the only one watching this whole bizarre ritual.
And miraculously, it works. The princess is alive again. It shows Peter's incredible power.
But Lustig, his mind snaps right back to the money. The king offers a reward. Peter refuses, naturally.
It's insistent, Peter.
But Lustig gives him the elbow again, like, come on, ask for something. Peter still says no. So the king, seeing Lustig practically vibrating with anticipation, just fills his knapsack with gold instead.
So he gets the gold anyway. But then Peter does that weird thing.
Divides it into 3 piles. Why 3?
Exactly. And Lustig sees those 3 piles and immediately thinks, wait a minute.
And what does he say?
He blurts out, yeah, I did eat the lamb's heart, so I should get that 3rd pile.
The nerve. After denying it when he was drowning, he completely flips his story just to get more gold. It's unbelievable.
It really shows he thinks Peter is either clueless or operates by some weird logic he can game, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
And this time, Peter seems to have had enough. He's like, fine, take it, but we're done, our partnership is over, and he leaves.
So Lustig's got his gold, but does he manage it well?
What do you think? Of course not. He blows through it super fast, ends up broke again.
Predictable.
Then he hears about another dead princess somewhere else, and he thinks,
Hey, I saw how Peter did that. I could do that too. Oh, boy.
Big mistake. He tries the whole dismembering and boiling thing.
But he doesn't have the magic touch, does he?
Not even close. He messes it up completely. Can't even get the bones right. It's a total disaster. The princess is definitely not coming back to life.
And just when it looks like he's really cooked his goose, guess who shows up?
St. Peter, again. Looking pretty annoyed this time, I bet.
Oh, yeah. He chews Lustig out for being arrogant and stupid. But then,
fixes it, puts the bones right, brings the princess back. Second resurrection.
But this time, Peter lays down the law. Do not take any reward. A direct order.
Does Lustig listen?
He does not. He somehow talks the king into filling his knapsack with the gold again. He's just incorrigibly cunning.
It's almost impressive in a terrible way, which brings them to their last meeting, right?
Yep. Peter's waiting for him at the gate as he leaves with his gold, gives him one last warning about his lies and tricks.
And then gives him the knapsack. But makes it magical.
Yeah, tells him whatever he wishes for will appear inside it. It's such a strange parting gift. Like, here's unlimited power, try not to screw it up too badly.
Maybe. And Peter says they won't read again after this.
A final, very ambiguous gift.
And Lustig immediately tests it, of course. Wishes for roast geese. Poof, geese appear.
But then that little flicker of his old self comes back. He generously gives one away to some apprentices.
Which naturally backfires. He gets accused of stealing them from the inn.
Yeah, even his good deeds cause trouble. Seems he can't win.
So he gets kicked out of the inn, needs a place to stay, ends up in this creepy old castle everyone says is haunted.
And guess what? It is. He runs into 9 devils.
9! Just hanging out! What does he do?
Does he run? No. He threatens them. And then, using the knapsack, he tricks all 9 of them into it. I wish all you devils were in my knapsack. Zip. Done.
Wow, trapping devils in a magic bag? That's resourceful.
The owner of the castle, some nobleman, is thrilled, offers him riches, a place to stay for life.
But Lustig turns him down. He's got other plans for the devils.
Uh-oh. What plans?
He takes the knapsack, full of angry devils, to a blacksmith
Okay.
and tells the blacksmith and his guys to just wail on the bag with their hammers, like beat the hell out of it, literally.
Ouch. So he gets them to kill the devils.
8 of them, yeah. Apparently one manages to squirm out and escape back to hell, but still, pretty brutal.
Definitely shows a darker side to him, not just a trickster anymore.
So time passes, Brother Lustig gets old, starts thinking about, the afterlife.
The final chapter.
He asks a hermit for directions, finds out there's a wide, easy road to hell and a narrow, tough path to heaven.
And knowing Brother Lustig.
He picks the easy road, heads straight for hell.
Of course he does. So what's the reception like?
Not great. The devil guarding the gate. It's the 9th devil, the one that escaped the knapsack.
No way.
Yes. And he's terrified of Lustig. He's like, no chance, buddy. You'll wish all of hell into that bag. Get lost.
Huh. Rejected from hell because he's too much trouble. That's amazing.
So where does he go now? Only one option left.
Heaven's Gate.
And guess who's guarding that gate?
It's gotta be St. Peter.
Yep. Awkward reunion. Lustig tries to play the old pals card, hey, remember me?
How does Peter react? I mean, after everything.
Peter's having none of it. Flat out refuses him entry. Nope, sorry, can't let you in.
Makes sense. But Lustig wouldn't just give up.
Never. He pulls one last, absolutely genius, completely outrageous trick. He holds up the knapsack.
The magic one.
The very same. He says to Peter something like, well, if I can't come in, would you at least take this old knapsack off my hands?
Okay, and Peter takes it.
He does. And the second Peter is holding it. Brother Lustig wishes himself inside the knapsack. Oh my God, he wished himself into heaven.
Exactly. He's technically inside the gates, inside the knapsack Peter is holding. What can Peter do? He's stuck.
That is audacious.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of brilliant. So he gets into heaven through a loophole.
Seems like it. What an end to the journey, right? From sharing his last crumb to lying, stealing, trapping devils, and finally tricking his way into paradise.
It leaves you scratching your head, doesn't it? After all that, the lies, the greed, he still makes it. What does that even mean?
That's the big question, isn't it? Listening to all this, what do you make of him? Is he just a cunning trickster who got lucky? Is there something about his sheer nerve, maybe even those early sparks of kindness, that counts for something?
It's so ambiguous. Does the ending say something about, divine mercy being bigger than we think? Or maybe it's just a funny story about how cleverness, even morally dubious cleverness, can sometimes win the day.
Or perhaps it suggests that the path isn't always straightforward, that all his actions, good and bad, somehow led him there. Yeah, maybe the journey itself, all the weird tests and choices, mattered more than the final score sheet. It definitely makes you think about morality, fate, and whether heaven has a policy on magical knapsacks. Gives you something to chew on for sure.